Okay. How do you go about making headers?
Well, you got an engine, then you know where the end piece, the collector.
Right.
So you got to fill in between there and there.
Right.
You wouldn't want to start building a header up here and the collector's in the wrong place.
Right. So you start off
Maybe-
with where you want that to be.
Yes.
Okay.
The end result.
Okay. You start at the end.
And
okay.
that should be parallel with the ground.
Okay.
You don't want the header to go up and you don't want it to go down and look terrible.
Sure. Okay.
So then we would start here with the collector,
Okay.
and then you'd make the worst pipe.
How do you know which one's the worst?
Well, do this one,
Okay.
because you have to start with this one, and then you could fill in all the other three all around it.
Okay. And that's the worst one just because the amount of bending it has to do?
Well, the location.
Okay.
So that's going to put the location between the engine and there and the collector.
Okay.
And you tack weld it.
And I guess you're making sure you're away from the suspension pieces and
everything,
everything
yeah.
else. Okay.
Then you turn around and maybe add this pipe to it,
Okay.
and that goes under the other one.
Okay.
And then these, the results is, that's where they go because you're having a,
That's what you're left with,
yeah,
huh?
that's what you're left with.
Okay.
Then you end up with two sizes of U-bends here,
Uh-huh.
one bigger than the other one, so they wrap around and look right.
Yeah.
One of them might be an 8-inch bend and the other one 4-inch. And
I
they'll
see.
fit right together without looking.
Without looking strange. Yeah. What engine are we looking at
This
here?
is a Chevy LS motor,
It's an LS.
late model motor,
Okay.
2005 or something.
I see. And what kind of intake are you doing
That happens
there?
to be, usually these have fuel injection,
Right.
complicated.
Yeah.
So I put a Edelbrock intake and carburetors, and it'll be run on gasoline like a fuel pump.
The single serpentine belt on the front?
Yeah, yeah. A little alternator over there. And,
Yeah.
if you want to do a little bit more about this car,
Yeah, tell me.
I've made several over the years,
Uh-huh.
and the people that make them sell parts for them would be, major one is Speedway Motors,
Okay.
and their frames are always the same.
Hmm.
Maybe a little longer, different car, different bodies or something.
But do you buy the frame kind of
No,
complete
I made
or
the,
no?
I made the
You
frame.
made the frame. Okay.
I bought 20-foot square tubing
Uh-huh.
because I've made several of these over my lifetime, and for customers. Speedway's frames are 24 inches outside
Okay.
and the whole frame, which I think that's wrong.
Okay.
And so, first thing I would do is put the radiator in,
Okay.
so I have some clearance there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put the motor in, so I have a couple inches of radiator clearance.
Sure. Right.
Then I turn around and put the body in, so I have 4 inches between the motor here,
Mm-hmm.
the steering gear, so it's not all pushed together where you can't work on it.
Right.
So
Yeah,
this
you-
frame is probably, this wheelbase is probably 6 inches longer than you would have in one of the Speedways or the
Interesting.
other people that makes T-buckets.
I see.
So then halfway back here, I sawed the frame and made it wider.
Okay.
So now there's no reason. So now my frame back here in the back is 27 inches wide. And then these gas tanks are 24. So you can't put a 24-inch gas tank down inside of a 24-inch frame.
Right.
It
You wouldn't
won't
have
go.
room. Right. Exactly.
So now I put the tank in here. That's why I made it 27.
Mm-hmm.
Because it don't matter how wide this is.
Right.
It can be 28 or 30.
Sure. Right.
But I have plenty of room for the battery,
Mm-hmm.
all my fuel pumps, the shocks, the coilover shocks. In this one, I happen to put a quick change late, a
Oh.
sprint carburetor in it. It's got quick change gears in the back here.
Okay.
So,
That's
but all these
that's a
brackets
cool
work because they all
setup.
come apart real easy.
Uh-huh.
It's easy to work on, plenty of room for everything.
Interesting.
And sometimes the T-buckets have a little pickup bed on here,
Right.
but you might put some kind of gas tank in it.
Yeah.
There's no place to put a battery.
Right.
No place to fuel pump, no place to put much. That's why this frame, the wheelbase is probably 6 or 8 inches longer than theirs.
Yeah.
So
But you make it that much more
workable.
easy to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
A
You're
friend of
not,
mine was in yesterday and talking, and he says his friend has one that's, he started, but he hasn't finished it because he don't know what to do.
ah. He's
You
got
don't know
himself
where
in
to
the corner.
You don't know, yeah, he's got a whole bunch of parts and scattered in his garage, but you don't know where to start because it'd be easy to make a mistake and have to cut it all off and start over. And it has a little cage on it.
Oh, so just like that.
Yeah, it has a little cover here so the hinges and tail lights and
Right on.
yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I guess
Fits everything, yeah.
everything's all right there.
All right there, and it'd be easy. Put the upholstery in it, maybe a little console for the key because you're sitting in the seat, you can't reach the ignition. So
Right.
it has to be back here someplace. And
What transmission are you using?
I've got two motor mounts. I made two sets of motor mounts. So you'd either put a 700R 4-speed in it,
Uh-huh.
an automatic, or a 350 transmission.
Uh,
And either one will go in it easily.
turbo hydro. Yep.
Yeah, automatic.
Uh-huh. And okay, and on this side, we can see you're in the process of putting the headers on this
Yeah,
side, which is
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. So I noticed you use a straight edge and a clamp, locking pliers to keep everything lined up and straight and even.
Yeah. And then this one, I'm thinking the steering linkage goes through it because that's where the steering linkage is at.
Oh, right.
So I didn't want all of the whole bunch over the outside, all 4 pipes.
Right.
So I can easily put 2 pipes in and 2 pipes out, and that look really similar to the other side.
Right, but it still accommodates that.
Accommodates that with
steering.
this collector to be in the same place.
Right.
The collector's 7 inches off the ground.
Huh.
So that's just part of it. It's just
Yeah.
a little engineering, and it's simple to do.
A little bit of thinking ahead.
Yeah, a little bit of thinking about it.
Great job. Well, thank you for showing that to me.
I've had my frame a lot taller here than the other ones.
Right.
And the angle down here to this body,
Uh-huh.
I took my frame and measured it and saw the frame halfway through,
Okay.
and then 2 inches out on each sides of that crack as a wedge. Then when I bent this up here, I don't go by certain angles, but with that 2 inches out of the frame is exactly perfect to fit the angle of the body.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's
And
got
some
a
of theirs
curve
is,
in the back.
if you look at theirs, the thing is way off the angle. Yeah, it sticks way back here, and then the frame is so much lower down here, you really can't do much with it.
Sure.
Except sometimes so many of them, they put that round gas tank, aluminum gas tank here. They must put the battery under the floorboard someplace. Mm-hmm. Plus the master cylinder and electric fuel pumps and transmission cooler. And it really plugs up underneath there, and the drive shaft and all kinds of stuff has to be under there.
Right.
And I just like that. That's why I prefer this one. And
I can see. Yeah, you've worked this out. You've got a reason why you're doing it
yeah,
this
the
way.
reason why you have to have a reason why, and you have to weigh a place to start and a place to finish, and and don't get ahead of yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom right there. Excellent. This thing's going to be a lot of fun once it's all finished. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's plenty of room to work on, easy work on.
Are those the tires for it back there?
Huh?
Those wide tires back
Yeah,
there?
they're the
That's for this
tires
thing?
for it.
Yeah, those are pretty wide. Maybe we'll get some scale here. Here's a fist right there. That's how wide these tires are. What's the numbers on these things?
I don't know. There's probably
Okay, there it is.
find it.
Yeah. Oh, 15 diameter wheels,
15
right.
diameter. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the numbers on it. Yeah.
Yep, that's crazy.